Ready? So, hi everyone. My name is Rodrigo Moraes. Let's wait a little bit. Maybe someone want to join us. And okay, everything set. Let's get started. Welcome everyone to the Project RB episode 3. My name is Rodrigo Moraes and if you are a newcomer, this is where Milan fans gather to talk about the AC Milan women's team every Wednesday at 20 CT-ish, a little less, a little something like that. So welcome again, and please subscribe in my channel, follow me on Twitch and Twitter, and check my work on Milan Reports. Very fantastic site with a fantastic crew led by Vito Angeli. Feel free to comment down here and join the conversation, whether it is in English, Italian, or Portuguese. Doesn't matter. I speak all of them badly. Just let me hear you and let me know you if you are a fan of the Rossonere. So, in the last episode, we talked about a fan favorite topic: transfer news and rumors. Who's leaving, who's staying, and who might arrive to strengthen the squad for the challenging season to come. Today we're gonna talk about the Rossonere's head-to-head stats against their bigger rivals in Serie A, and let's talk a little bit about the arrival of Sampdoria in the women's game and what it means for the growth and evolution of a culture feminile itself. We have another presentation, and all the data here was collected by from reliable sources such as Serie A official site, AC Milan official site, and my very own homemade badass freaking awesome database about the Rossoneri, fed with all those data and perfected by the magic of Excel. Uh, it's one of the best there is, and it's completely up to date. Just a topic about the last episode we that arrived this came up this season this week about Natasha Dowie. She, according to Luca Maninetti from MilanNews24.com, she might be leaving, and Stine Larsen uh, might be her replacement, not another one coming to add something up to our attack. It's said, everybody who follows me on Twitter knows that I really, really like Dowie, and it would be just a shame to see her leaving. Okay, let's get it started. Presentation on. As you can see, Natasha Dowie in the cover. So let's get it on. The Serie A in the 2021-2022 season seems the last edition with 12 will be not seems to be will be the last edition with 12 clubs, as FIGC officially announced that they will reduce the number of the team to 10 to make the league more attractive and competitive for attractive for the fans, for the media, and more competitive for the teams. So, the governing body of football in Italy wants to level the game up and avoid what happened last season while Juventus won the league back-to-back and Milan arrived in second with 16 out of 22 victories. Uh, Pink Body were relegated with just one single game, with just winning just one single game, while San Marino won only three of them. This is something that we always talked about. It really, it's not good for Serie A to have 12 or 18 or just like that. And the top clubs, when almost every game, Juventus won every game, and the small clubs just fight themselves just to stay alive. It's not good for for Italy itself. So, to implement this change, three clubs will be relegated at the end of the season, while with only one being promoted from Serie B. Quick reminder, this season, Pink Body and San Marino were relegated to Serie B, and Lazio and Pomigliano were promoted. Okay, of course, with Serie A becoming a professional league, a lot of small clubs still don't have the level of investment and infrastructure remotely close to those who are backed by big clubs, and this also affects the level of the game, as we said. But we'll get back to it later in this episode. Just give me a second, okay? Just sorry about the noise in the background. As I said, I'm home and we are all home here, and my wife is home, my daughter is at home, so a lot of noises and a lot of things happening in the background. So let's get started. Let's start it over. Okay. Okay. So I was talking about the Serie A becoming a professional league, and a lot of small clubs still don't have the level of investment and infrastructure remotely close to those who are backed by big clubs like Milan, like Juventus, like Internazionale, and this also affects the level of the game. But we will get back to it later in this episode, in the same episode. So, okay, next season, Juventus, Milan, Fiorentina, Internazionale, Roma, Hellas Verona or Verona, Sassuolo, Empoli, newly promoted Lazio, and the newcomer Sampdoria will be the teams funded by their professional counterparts clubs to play in Serie A, while Pomigliano and Napoli are independent clubs with no investment from professional teams. Make no mistake, this makes a huge difference on and off the pitch. Having a professional club, a professional level club with a fantastic infrastructure, with professionals, uh, physicals, doctors, and to make the team work. This will be the first Serie A appearance for both Lazio and Sampdoria. Then Milan have no stats about them. Although it's always nice to recognize the great job a former Milan coach Carolina Moratti did last season to make sure Lazio got the promotion. About Sampdoria, once again, we'll talk about them later on this episode. So, as I said, newly promoted Lazio, Pomigliano, and the newcomer Sampdoria. We go from bad to great, okay? Just to avoid the sadness in the end at the end of the episode. First to stop, sorry, Juventus. First stop, Juventus. Milan have faced Juventus 7 times to date, and the Rossonere have beat the Bianconeri only once in the 2018-2019 season, when Thaisa Moreno at Real Madrid these days, Valentina Giatinti and Daniela Sabatino, who extended her stay at Fiorentina for one more season, scored on that sweet, sweet November the 4th, match day 6 in Serie A that season. After that, there have been 2 draws and 4 defeats for Milan. Milan have scored 7 goals against Juventus, including an own goal by Pedersen, and that's concerning. That's a concerning number because if you think that 3 of those 7 goals have been scored in just one game, it means that the Rossonere only scored 4 goals afterwards in the following 6 games. More impressive yet, while Giacinti leads the score sheet against Juventus with 2 goals to her name, 4 different players scored 1 goal each against them with a Milan shirt, and 2 of them are not even in the squad anymore. Giuliano, currently at Roma, sorry, Sabatino at Fiorentina, and Domenica Cionci, who's set to leave, and Francesca Vitali, who might stay. On the other hand, Milan conceded 12 goals to Juventus, including here a own goal by Fusetti, and Barbara Bonansea is the La Bestia Nera, with 4 goals scored against the Rossoneri, followed by Caruso and Staskova, each one with 2 goals. Surely Juventus is Milan's biggest rival and the team to be beaten also next season to avoid their 5th Scudetto in a row. And ups, before I forget, Juventus replaced coach, 4 times champions, Rita Guarino with former Arsenal gaffer Joe Montemurro. Now let's Fiorentina. So Fiorentina, besides their disappointing 2021 season, the Viola is still one of the forces in Serie A to be reckoned with. Milan have faced the Tuscans also 7 times to date, with 2 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses. In their last game at Vismara, Fiorentina came out with a resounding 1-3 victory, with Sabatino scoring her first ever goal against Milan. However, the most painful memory for a Milanista when the Fiorentina topic pops up might be the Supercoppa Italiana defeat, where the Tuscans managed to make a comeback win after trailing 1-0. At that game, Giacinti opened the score, broke the deadlock, and Louise Quinn and I don't remember her first name, King, scored for Fiorentina. So, the Rossoneri found the back of Fiorentina's net 8 times, 3 of them scored by Giacinti, followed by Salvatore Rinaldi with 2 goals. Daniela Sabatino also with 2 goals and Giorgia Spinelli with the winner in Serie A match 9 last season complete the ranking. Unfortunately, Milan conceded Fiorentina 14 goals, including here an own goal by Alborghetti and, fun fact, both Guani and Bonetti, who scored 3 goals against Milan, left Italy for Atletico Madrid last season. Goes saying that after Juventus, Fiorentina is a really pain in the Rossonere's neck, even when things are not great for them. After all, a 4th place with 13-point gap for Milan's is not exactly the best scenario. And, by the way, Fiorentina also chose to let Antonio Cincotta leave and replaced him with Patricia Panico. Not officially, I think, but Il Calcio Femminile, Luca Bendoni, said it's gonna happen. Now, city rivals Internazionale. There have been 8 derbies so far, and Milan have prevailed in 7 of them. including their last encounter in the Coppa Italia semi-final second leg when both Dowie and Vero scored a brace and led the Rossonere to their first ever Coppa Italia final. The other result was a defeat in the first leg of said semi-final. I just forgot to be better. So, was a defeat in the first leg. Okay, and here another fun fact. In women's football, a Derby della Madonnina really means goals. The most common score between those two teams is 4-1 for Milan, which happened three times. The Rossoneri really like to score against Inter, their second favorite target, with 27 goals so far, and of course, Valentina Giacinti leads the pack with 8 goals to her name, 8 goals through her name, followed by Chonch and Dowie, both with 4 goals against the Nerazzurri. On the other hand, Milan conceded Inter 12 goals, and Gloria Marinelli is the player to keep a closer look as she already hurt the Rossoneri 6 times, and Caroline Moller, who left for Real, was going to leave for Real Madrid, though, I believe, scored against the Rossoneri 3 times. And just to keep the tradition, Inter also has a new coach for next season, and surprising everyone, it's Rita Guarino. Rita Guarino, who was at Juventus. I mean, Attilio Sorbi was an okay gaffer, but Inter clearly have a good squad that. But Inter clearly have a good squad that, in the right hands, like Guarino, has what it takes to deliver much more than the eighth place they did last season in Serie A. Stop. I know the Coppa Italia final still lingers, but come on, it's part of the game. I'm sure that Milan will do better next season. They had me when Vero said that a few days ago. Vero said we're gonna win the Scudetto, and I believe her. She says I believe her. Okay, against the Giallorossi, Milan have played 6 times, with 5 wins and the bittersweet goalless draw in the Coppa Italia final last season, their last game, decided in a penalty shootout after 2 hours of good performances by both teams. Two former Milan players were essential for Roma this season: midfield Manuele Giuliano and goalkeeper Camilla Chiesa, if I'm not mistaken. 14 goals to the Rossoneri against Roma so far, and as always, Giacinti lead the score sheet with 4 goals to her name, while former Milan strikers Daniela Sabatino and Thorvald, I'll try it again, Thorvald Thor, followed her with 2 goals each. While Milan conceded only 4 goals to Roma, and ironically, Lindsay Thomas, one of the Milan transfer window targets, targets, scored twice against her probable next team, and Luca Maninetti again said on July 1st, Milan will probably announce the arrival of Lindsay Thomas. She's a very, very, very good striker, and she'll do great. And yes, also Roma will have a new coach next season. Despite the Coppa Italia title, they chose to part ways with Rita Bavagnoli and hired Alessandro Spugna to be their head coach next season. Spugna were in charge of Empoli last season and finished fifth in Serie A, only 5 points behind the Giallorossi. And Sassuolo, last but not least, let's take a look at the Rossonere's head-to-head stats against Sassuolo. Those two have faced each other 9 times, making the Nero-Verde the Milan women's most recurrent adversary, alongside Roma. They are the team that Rossonere have won the most, 5 times, and have drawn the most, 4 times, including both legs of last season Coppa Italia quarter-final. Sassuolo is the third-best victim of Milan, with 15 goals scored by the Rossoneri, including here an own goal by Giorgio and 6 of them scored by Valentina Giacinti as always. Milan instead conceded Sassuolo 5 goals, and Claudia Serrato bagged 3 of them. Okay, so after that landslide of numbers, a quick input here. I believe that Juventus are still the one to be beaten. However, they've changed not only their head coach for Joey Montemuro, but lost some important players like Laura Giuliani and Raragali and some other. I forgot. Okay, I don't keep track of Juventus culture mercato, but they lost some important players this season, and it takes time for those changes to settle down, making the beginning of the season a golden opportunity for Milan to seize it and take as many points as they can. Regarding the others, Sassuolo also kept their coach Piovani, and Guarino's arrival at Inter are elements that will raise the bar for Serie A next season, and Milan must be ready to do even better than they did before with Maurizio Gans. We had fewer changes in the squad. I hope we have fewer changes in the squad than the previous season because okay, I know while non-professional club, it's hard to say to, for example, Yuri Hasegawa, please don't go to Real Madrid or Barcelona because we have here we can make history. Uh, it's hard for it's hard. I just noticed a mistake earlier. It's hard for us, but I hope we don't make this. Don't 11 players leave and another 12 players arrive, and then Guns have to start it all over again. So fewer changes, bigger squad, solid foundation with international players like Laura Giuliani, Valentina Giacinti, and Laura Fusetti, and Valentina Bergamaschi, Linda Tuccieri. The foundation of the team is solid. We all know that. We have a good mix of youth and experience with Korenchova, Carolina Morleo, who it's her birthday today, so happy birthday. Nano, we have Sara Tamburini, who are players who are young and therefore mentioned players from the international women's Italy, Italy national women's team. So a good mix of youth and experience and a solid ownership as Ivan Gazidis, Elizabeth Spina are doing a great job reinforcing the club, reinforcing the team, making us a very competitive team, a very competitive side, including for and maybe I'm a optimist here, but I believe we're gonna make it to the Champions League group stage. Here, let's now talk about Sampdoria and what happened to them and what happened to it's basically the same thing that happened to Milan here. It happened in 2018 on June. Milan bought the sporting license from Brescia. We inherited their Serie A spot. That's why we are in Serie A. But they didn't bought the entire club. So the Champions League spot went to Fiorentina. True. About Sampdoria, the chairman Ferrero bought the sporting license from Florencia is like exactly what Milan did to Brescia 3 years ago. It means that another big club took interest in the women's game in Italy and is willing to invest to spend not only money but time and professionals to improve the league. Now, as we said, 10 out of 12 clubs in Serie A are backed by professional clubs. Combining that with the arrival of player agents such as Mino Raiola, and I'm not saying this is especially a good thing, it's safe to say that Serie A is on the path to become one of the big leagues and finally improve its coefficient ranking in UEFA. Right now, Italy is only ninth in the stands, which gives them only two spots in Champions League. Okay, more money, more media coverage, improving the technical level of the league is, as the Mandalorian said, this is the way. Also, looks like the FIGC is demanding a significant increase of investment in the youth sector and the creation and subscription of a Primavera squad in order to allow the club to play in Serie A. This is something that bugs me because Milan still don't have a Primavera team, a feminine Primavera squad. But according to a few reliable sources, this might happen or this might already happen in this season. So we're gonna have I don't know why, and people who I talked to and asked people who work at the club said that they don't know why they still have not created a Primavera squad for the women's team, but they're, as those sources said, they are investing in the youth sector, and probably this season we're gonna have a Primavera squad. If not this season, the next one, because as I said, Fijici is demanding the clubs in Serie A to have Primavera squads and play their national league, the Primavera National League. Okay, sorry again about my bad English. I'm trying to improve it. Any thought? Do you disagree with anything? Do you have any doubt? I'm here to talk to you about the Rossonere, the AC Milan Women's Club, and just leave your comment below and tag me on Twitter and let's talk about Milan Femminile, please. So Raga, this is it. I really would like to thank you all if you're watching it live or afterwards. It doesn't matter. This is for you. This content is for you who follow the Rossoneri. Before I'm leaving, please like this video, subscribe here in my channel, leave a comment, a compliment, a complaint, anything in Italian, in English, in Portuguese, in Spanish. I don't care. I just want to talk with you about the AC Milan women's team. Anything, we take it. Okay? So, see you next week for more. Next week we're gonna talk about Champions League because the draw for the league path where Milan is is on July 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. So next episode we're gonna talk about Champions League format, new logo, new new format, new logo, new anthem, new participant as Milan for the first time in history make it to Champions League. Okay, so next week we see you next week. Bye and Forza Milan.